Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, Seattle said goodbye to the World Cup, and things went better than expected. Washington State has a surplus of cannabis and also a bunch of new roundabouts, much to the dismay of some confused and passive drivers. Stranger News editor Vivian McCall and Seattle Met deputy editor Naomi Tomky are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. Time is running out to get your hands on some Washington State history, a hunk of the Bellingham Rock. For more than 50 years, locals painted it with slogans, images, and graduation messages. Then last year, the State Department of Transportation said the 100-ton boulder needed to be relocated so crews could work on nearby fish passages. But then, workers broke it into pieces. If you want one, WashDOT says you have until noon today to fill out an online waiver. If the World Cup has you feeling some soccer fever, you have a couple of options to catch some local matches this weekend. Local semi-pro women's team Salmon Bay FC is hosting the semi-final of the USLW playoffs tomorrow. They play Minnesota Aurora FC at 7:30 at Interbay Stadium. And the Reign return to Lumen Field on Sunday to play a Cascadia rivalry match against the Portland Thorns. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. And make sure to keep an eye out for bikes on city streets and state highways this weekend. About 6,000 cyclists are expected to participate in the yearly Seattle to Portland bike ride, Saturday and Sunday. They'll head south, starting from the University of Washington Montlake Boulevard parking lot. WashDOT says motorists should be patient and prepared for potential travel delays. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again. Going to be a nice weekend to get out, so I hope you have some fun plans. Vivian McCall is here. She's the Strangers News editor. Vivian, always good to see you.
Hello, good to see you too.
Look who else is here. Naomi Tomky is here. She's the deputy editor of Seattle Met. Naomi, glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you just blew into town recently. Okay, you two, let's jump right into the big story this week. Everyone exhale. The coast is clear. Seattle's last World Cup match was played Monday. We do not need to talk about the result or the way we got there. Now, while some smaller watch parties continue, we are returning to normal life with construction resuming and pedestrian zones being taken down. Remember Revive I-5? We're back to that this weekend. So if you're heading out, maybe get an audiobook queued up because you are going to be sitting in traffic. You two, let's check in. Do you feel like you got swept up in some of the World Cup joy? How did you handle the past few weeks?
I thought it was very easy to avoid. I watched one World Cup game, Australia versus Turkey, at a bar with friends, and the game was actually really fun because one of them was very into the game, and I think his excitement about it made it exciting. But the most exciting part was that because, you know, it was a bit of a hot night, the door was left open to the bar and a rat got in. and it's kind of the perfect game for that because there's so much that doesn't happen in soccer. So there was enough time for him to get up and chase the rat out of the bar.
And not miss a beat.
No, he got a free drink out of it. And he doesn't like rats. So it was really brave. It was dramatic. I really liked it.
All right.
That was my experience.
Hot Rat Summer looks different this year.
It does.
A little bit. What about you, Naomi?
I love earnest sports enthusiasm in all forms and have an 8-year-old that is a huge soccer fan. So I was all over everything.
What will be your most indelible image from Seattle's time hosting the World Cup?
People riding Lime scooters on the sidewalk toward me at a high speed.
Oh my gosh, hopefully in those bright lime helmets they were giving out.
Perfectly camouflaged.
What about you, Naomi?
So I took my 8-year-old down to Pioneer Square for the U.S. game last week, and that was maybe not my smartest decision. However, there was a guy leaning out his window making a pizza from one of the apartments above, and then he would cook it and box it up and send it down by rope. And that was amazing.
It's almost Europe.
That sounds so cool. That sounds like cool chaos, actually.
It was.
Yeah. What will be your most indelible image, though? What will you take home from this?
Oh, the guy leaning out of the window with a thing of pizza
on a
dough.
Rope not enough for you? That's really memorable.
I mean, as we walked up, this guy was leaning out his window like with a giant round of pizza dough.
That's amazing.
Above a crowd of like you couldn't move. I don't know how
That's
many people
amazing.
were on Occidental Square, but
Wow.
nobody was moving. I should not have brought
I'm not
any.
gonna-
Pizzas
I'm
were
not gonna fight
moving.
about
That is great.
Wow.
And actually, so I don't know if it was the same guy or one of the other apartments. One of the coolest things I saw, nobody could move. And so they were lowering down a basket and people could put their water bottles in it and they would raise it up and fill water bottles. Because also, I don't know if you remember, it was very hot that afternoon.
Yeah.
And honestly, they probably saved some lives because there was no other way to get water out there.
The humanity of Seattle was amazing to me, to see all of these people just having a great time. Seattleites having a great time. There was some worry. We drew some big crowds, though. What do you think worked during the World Cup? What did we do well?
Actually, Charles, my coworker, had a thought on this that I thought was really great, where, in our country right now, we have politicians who trade on the idea that the United States is in total decline and all of the cities are these miserable, dangerous, and unlivable. And for all these people to come from all over the world and to say, these places are beautiful and I am having an amazing time here. And you have the influencer types who are doing that. And I think maybe some of them played it up for clicks. But I did see genuine reaction because I think that is just true. If you go anywhere in the world and you're going to confront your ideas about what someplace is and who lives there. And often you will find people who are just nice and places that are nice and people living life.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that the world got to see that because it takes power away from that narrative.
It does. And honestly, seeing the visual of the pier just completely packed with people was amazing. It was amazing. And apparently we handled things so well. King County Sheriff's Office says there were no major safety threats related to the World Cup, not even drunk fans clashing after the games, according to KUOW 7, though I think I did see a couple of scuffles, but
Yeah.
nothing major. Nothing major. Are we too polite to fight? Do we just get buttoned up for company?
The city prefers vague posting. I think it's not a fisticuffs town.
Yeah. Seattle did throw a good party, even though the World Cup is still going on. Some of our big celebrations, like the Waterfront Watch Party I was just talking about, the party barge, the big screen at Pacific Place, all wrapped up, all gone now. There are still some things going on at the Armory in Seattle Center and in Pioneer Square. You can even watch in the Seattle Central Library, but you might get shushed. Actually, maybe not. No, we're not hosting any more matches. Does it make sense that Seattle's kind of done with the World Cup?
So I was in Pioneer Square on Tuesday morning, unrelated to soccer, and my car shook when Egypt scored a goal. So I'm going to say we're not done yet.
We are not done. That is great to hear. That's great to hear because it would have bugged me a little bit if we were just like, oh, we're done. U.S. is out. Let's wrap it up, people. So that's good. That's good. The city's been prepping for this moment for years, and it kind of feels like when you've been planning a big vacation or a wedding or something major for months, and then it happens. Like, what now? What do we do now with all this positive, overflowing energy that we had? Where does it go from here?
Maybe we should take the energy of people who came to this country and to this city and perhaps look at it in a different way. Acknowledge that we have problems that we do really need to deal with, but not have such toxic conversations about them and just focus on passing policy that makes a difference.
I mean, I hope that we can find a way to use those public spaces as really amazing, enthusiastic gathering spots. I mean, seeing that many people in Pacific Place.
Hasn't been that many people there since 2000.
Yeah, I think I was in high school, and we won't talk about how long ago
Are malls
that was.
falling out of favor? Just kidding.
But clearly we have this giant space and it could be used for something. I don't know what, but I'm sure someone smarter than me does.
Shopping doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah.
So maybe trying something else.
The whale tails are sticking around too, I heard. The big artistic whale tails that they have throughout the city that were helping people find their way.
Was that what they were doing?
Oh.
Well, that is a real indictment.
All right, moving on to our next topic. File this one under things you never expected to become a problem. Washington State has too much cannabis. As our own Natalie Akane Newcomb put it, Washington's recreational cannabis industry was blazing with sales at first. The business was sticky, but these days it's more icky. The puns, they never get old. I am not blowing smoke. Sales in Washington state peaked in 2021, but now they're down 21% across 4 years. It's still $1 billion industry in Washington state, but it might not be if the downturn continues. You two, what happened here? Are people in Washington just taking a tolerance break?
If I were to infer from the restaurant and bar industries, I'm going to say that it's because everything's really freaking expensive and nobody has any job or job security.
Less disposable income for things like party drugs. Okay, what do you think?
That could be part of it. It could be an oversaturated market. They're all the market conditions. I also think that, of course, you're going to have tons of sales when it was legal to buy weed for the first time because it was fun and exciting. I actually used to work at a diner across the street from a dispensary when I lived in Chicago. And when weed was legalized, there were just a lot of boomers who would just get blazed and then come and be just the worst imaginable customers. But they were having a really good time. And I think the cool factor of it, in a sense, is probably gone. Because if you ever walk into a dispensary, it's kind of dorky. I was thinking about this, and it's like, it is the difference between watching Jerry Garcia play guitar for the Grateful Dead and then John Mayer. It was never good to me either way, but one is certainly better than the other.
You want the guy back? You need a guy?
I suppose, yeah. I think so. Oh, yeah, it's a lot more fun because you never know what's going to happen when you go there. Like
that's some of the parts that weren't fun.
Yes, no, they're not. They're not that. It's not always fun, but it never is boring. And if you go to a dispensary, you're not going to get a story. You're not going to hear about somebody's interests.
There's no adrenaline bump when you walk into Lux on Lake City.
It's sort of like a lot of people had like a Kramer in their lives who's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that is tragic.
I'm curious how much weed is too much weed or if it's just really too expensive.
It's hard to say. Has any of the reporting about this suggested that it is related to any specific thing, or does nobody really know?
Just the saturation. And honestly, Natalie was reporting it's the smaller operations that are kind of getting hosed because they can't keep stock. It goes bad if it's not put out there and sold immediately.
Oh, wow.
I guess some of the larger outfits have better packaging or some kind of situations that allow them to hold on to stuff.
Right.
Whereas smaller growers have a harder time keeping it fresh.
A lot of dealers never had any trouble selling really old
swaggy weed on the street was just a thing.
It was.
It's going to be like the day-old's bin at the farmer's market.
Yeah. Can we get like a DVD bin?
I bet. Actually, what they probably do with that old crappy pot is they grind it up and they put it in those joints that they sell for $2.
You don't think those are artisanal?
There's also high taxes, right? And there's still an illicit market outside of our normal dispensaries.
And limits on what the dispensaries can do in terms of marketing and operations. Not that seems to stop every single empty space that opens up in my neighborhood from becoming a dispensary.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because depending on your neighborhood, you might have your pickup places as long as they're not within 1,000 feet of each other or 500 feet from places like public parks or schools. Do we have too many dispensaries maybe? Have we just really oversaturated the market? Because there are a lot. There are a lot.
I don't know if they're trying hard enough because if you go to New York City, there is a new dispensary every time you turn around and they have enormous balloon arches. They have promotions that are certainly illegal. That is exciting. And that preserves, I think, a little bit of that old school buying weed feel. It's a little too buttoned up.
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
We got to bring back some of that risk.
Pay a guy to hang around. and play GameCube or something, like Monkey Ball.
If you don't have plans this weekend, ask not what your state can do for you, but what you can do for your state.
Yeah, do you even care?
Do you even care what's happening in our weed market? All right, moving on to our next topic. If driving in Seattle makes you feel like you're going in circles, that is probably no accident. The Seattle Times reported this week that there are now 607 roundabouts across Washington state. That is the fourth most in the country, twice as many as we had a decade ago. But don't get it twisted. Roundabouts differ from Seattle's traffic circles. We have about 1,000 of those on our residential streets in the city. A lot of these roundabouts are new, so is it understandable that people seem a little apprehensive and confused when they're going through them?
No. I mean, they're normal. They're safe. You can pretend like when the World Cup was here that you're in Europe. I have seen catastrophic mishaps at roundabouts. I'll never forget this. This was also when I lived in Chicago. Car beached right in the middle.
No.
And it's like, damn, buddy, that was the one place you should have
That's like there's 5 exits on this thing.
Yeah, there's like the road. It's like the same. You just stay on the road.
You
just
can
keep
go
going forward, but not like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I took driver's ed in the 1900s, and we learned how to operate those things. There's not really an excuse for not knowing what you're doing.
I think some of the passive aggressiveness of the Seattle driver comes out in these roundabouts because I think they come into them not fully prepared to do the whole thing, and they're doing they're all nervous, they're going slow, they're hitting the brake.
That's true.
Maybe they've missed the turn they were supposed to take. Now they got to go around the circle again. I feel like this is a learning curve for certain people here.
I will actually modify my answer a little bit, because the only time where I understand when people are confused is if you have this sort of, I think of it as like it's a crazy 8, because it's like 2 roundabouts that are.
Oh, yeah.
That I understand. Am I confused by them? No, I'm not an idiot, but I get it. but I understand. I understand.
I think it's a matter of perspective. These are the same people that don't take their turn at the 5-way stops.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, like, they're growing because at least we can keep moving in the roundabout.
That's so true. Maybe they need some sort of campaign that's like, imagine briefly that you're in a boat and that is land. Would you hit it? I wouldn't.
This massive transformation for Washington roadways has a point. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety says injuries and crashes both go down when you replace stop signs or traffic signals with roundabouts. The logic here is that roundabouts slow people down, so instead of blasting through the intersections with the potential for an accident, any collisions are at lower speeds. But apparently, when a roundabout is first put in, it does lead to fender benders at first before the safety benefits kick in.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Because if you're drunk and you're blasting Van Halen and you're just like, you're going to hit that thing and you're just not going to know where it came from. It's totally. But I get that. It's a new thing. Of course.
They weren't drunk. They were high, and they were trying to support the state.
They were doing
as
their
you
part.
said.
You're right. God, I'm giving mixed messages on this show.
Maybe we could come up with a bumper sticker like similar to the student driver one. I don't do roundabouts. Please be patient. Maybe that's the new sticker.
Should we distribute Thunder shirts?
You do have to be intentional. It is harder to look down at your phone. You can't be passive. It's a very active process, which is part of why experts actually think it's safer than a 4-way stop. Roundabouts are expanding throughout Western Washington, including 3 major projects in Shoreline and Kirkland, and one here in Seattle, right up in my neck of the woods at Roosevelt and 125th Street. Between this and Revive I-5, best of luck to everyone out there on the streets. All right, one last thing before we go. A time capsule was buried in Philadelphia on Saturday in celebration of America's 250th anniversary. It contained contributions from all 50 states, 5 territories, and the other Washington, D.C., not to be opened until 250 years from now. It's a wide assortment of items. Some states put in coins, rocks, newspapers, clothing, maybe a recipe. Washington put a proclamation from Washington State Governor Bob Ferguson acknowledging the state's participation in the semi-quincentennial, and a letter as well from Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck to the people of the future. If you were a Washington State resident in 2276 and you opened it up and saw 2 letters and nothing else, well, would you react to that?
Who? I think mostly, probably. Who is this?
Who are these people?
It's a rather confident thing to do.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Most people, well, everyone dies, and then most people aren't remembered. Maybe, but it's confident.
A lot more confident than people in the traffic circles. Washington State actually has its own time capsule buried underneath the legislature in Olympia. An organization called the Keepers of the Capsule adds to it every 25 years. The next time they add to it is going to be 2039. It will officially be opened in 2389, the state's 500th anniversary. Are we saving all the cool stuff for our own capsule, Naomi?
I mean, it can't be less cool than the letters.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Was that low? That's kind of low effort what they did even.
It's very low effort.
Of course, I have to ask, what would you put in the time capsule to represent Washington State in 2026? Naomi, what would you put in there?
Maybe some of those whale signs that apparently were telling us where to go.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
What's a good representation of our state? Would we put a gooey duck in there? Like a...
Oh, that won't
not an actual...
It will go really... It spoils.
And we're leaving it there. Vivian McCall is The Stranger's news editor. Naomi Tomky is deputy editor at Seattle Met. Good to see you, Naomi.
Thanks.
Thanks, Vivian.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Seattle Now. No roundabout here. We're cutting right to the chase. Please rate and review the show on your podcast app or share it with a friend. Today's producers are Vaughn Jones and Jonathan Chang. This episode was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. Talk to you tonight for Evening Headlines.